Alright guys, in today's video we're talking about yet another big PlayStation 5 exclusive that we have more information on that I want to take a few minutes here to go over and talk about with you. That game is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which is releasing on June 11th. Now yesterday, Sony let us know that there will be a state of play happening this Thursday that will be dedicated to Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So sooner than I was expecting. So I do plan to stream that. Hopefully it will go smoothly and everything, pans out. I'm very excited to see more of this game, and I think it's going to be even bigger than Returnal, significantly bigger. That's not to downplay Returnal, but I think that Ratchet and Clank is frankly on another level in terms of hype and what Insomniac Games is doing with the PlayStation 5 hardware. And so it's interesting because we're seeing Sony's games kind of compete with one another, and in the end, we just get better and better games. But what I want to go over here with you is some of the new information about the game that was released yesterday, as well as just talk about how this game is seemingly blowing people away in a pretty significant way, honestly, right? Like, the way I'm seeing people talk about Ratchet and Clank, it's very exciting. But we're starting here with the PlayStation blog. It says, meet Rivet, the mysterious new protagonist in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is now less than 2 months away, coming exclusively to the PlayStation 5 console on June 11th, 2021. This brand new, full-length, standalone Ratchet and Clank adventure will be a blast for returning fans and newcomers alike. It says, we've been hard at work on the game and we know you've been craving an update. And so they dropped a new trailer, and I will have that playing in the background, obviously. And I watched this trailer and it's just amazing, man. It's just absolutely incredible what Insomniac Games has been doing for PlayStation recently. First with Spider-Man Miles Morales, and now right after that with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And I don't know, man, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart looks like it's setting a new benchmark in terms of visuals for not just the PlayStation 5, but across the board. I mean, this is, I think, the best looking game I may have ever seen, as crazy as that may sound. But it says here, yes, we have finally revealed her name. You guessed it, right? Rivet is a Lombax resistance fighter from another dimension where the evil Emperor Nefarious hunts all those who oppose him. You saw brand new locations like Nefarious City and alternate dimension twists on old favorites. And so it's just kind of talking here a little bit about what you can expect from the game. They're talking about getting a sneak peek at some of the new weapons, the gameplay mechanics, and they talk about the song that they chose. They talk about the composer of the game. And it says here that many of you have been patiently waiting to see the 5 armor suits we're including in the digital deluxe edition of the game. These 5 looks for Ratchet and Rivet were designed and developed particularly for the digital deluxe edition. And so they show this here. It says the Imperial, Scavenger, Android, Rebel, and Hacker suits all give you some distinct cosmetic looks to play with and mix and match as you play and take photos in Ratchet and Clank's first ever photo mode. So again, they're letting you know that there is a photo mode in this game, which makes a lot of sense considering how good it looks. And so it says here, want to see more? We're pleased to announce that Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is the focus of PlayStation's next state of play, and it's just 3 days away. So tune in to the PlayStation Twitch channel or the YouTube channels this Thursday again. So it says here that we're going to get more than 15 minutes of fresh gameplay. So what's interesting to me is they almost frame it as if there's going to be a little bit more than just Ratchet and Clank, but I'm not expecting anything more. I think this is just going to be for Ratchet and Clank, but we could see maybe something else show up as well, maybe some indie games. I'm not really sure, but either way, we know we're getting more than 15 new minutes of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart gameplay, which is awesome because we already have a pretty good chunk of gameplay that's out there now, and obviously what we see in the trailers. But this is a game that I want to see more of, and I think most other people feel that way as well. But I want to let you guys know that people are particularly impressed with one specific scene that was shown in this trailer. And it says the latest Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart trailer was a little lighter on loading gimmicks than its previous gameplay reveals, but Insomniac Games snuck in some SSD magic that you may have missed. So one GIF shared on the Reset Era forums shows Rivet rushing towards a crystal where she hits it in order to transition to another dimension. The entire process, animation and all, lasts roughly 1 second, potentially even less. And you can see it for yourself, and so I'll try to have this up for you guys to see, but I actually put this out on my Twitter as well because This is absolutely insane. And it goes on to say here, reacting to the GIF, community director James Stevenson said that the transitions will probably be slightly faster by the time you play it in June, referring to further optimizations that the developer may make prior to launch. So yeah, I mean, it just gets even more impressive, right? Like, we've already seen what they're doing with the instant teleportation through, dimension portals and how that's utilizing the PlayStation 5's SSD and IO throughput, but we're seeing it put to use here once again. And I absolutely love to see this, man. Like, this is what is truly exciting to me as somebody who bought a PlayStation 5 and, tried to understand fully what Mark Cerny was saying about how they're trying to revolutionize, to a certain extent, gameplay design and what they can really kind of, change and just alter in a significant way and do things differently. I feel like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is truly the first game that's really trying to show you some of the crazy things that this hardware can kind of end up doing for games. But we're not done yet, because it seems that this new trailer that Insomniac put out for Ratchet and Clank is attracting a lot of attention and a lot of viewership. So reading from Push Square, it says 2 weeks ago there was a ton of chatter about Sony's overemphasis on blockbusters, but to be honest, the platform holder has to put the media in its place. A round of superlated previews for offbeat sci-fi roguelite Returnal has elevated the status of that release to astronomical levels, and now a Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart trailer has gamers' jaws on the floor. So, in fact, the trailer attracted 1.1 million views in a little over 24 hours on YouTube and is currently the 14th top trending video on the website as we write this. There are enormous metrics for the series, which has always been popular, but never belonged to that upper echelon of mainstream PlayStation franchises. It's worth remembering that at the time of its release, Ratchet & Clank's reboot on PS4 was Insomniac Games' fastest-selling title of all time, and it was quickly surpassed by Marvel's Spider-Man, of course, but it feels like Rift Apart is certainly well-placed to become the best-selling entry in the series so far. So, yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that the hype for Sony's games is real. I mean, we know that we've always known there was going to be a lot of hype for PlayStation's games. We knew that there was hype for Ratchet and Clank, but as this article points out, it's really nice to see these games just kind of continue to grow more and more, where it seems like there's more hype around Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart than there ever has been for another Ratchet and Clank title. That's what it seems like to me. And so one last thing I want to make you guys aware of before we end this video talking about Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is a former developer who worked at EA, who actually, I think, did a little bit of a reaction to this new trailer on their channel. You guys may be familiar with this individual. I believe they're called the Cherno. And so it says here, like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart's gameplay trailer, it blew us all away yesterday. A former EA game developer, the Cherno, has reacted to Insomniac's latest showcase of the game and gave us a developer perspective on just how impressive the game looks. The most striking reaction Cherno offers comes when we transport to the city, where they say if only Cyberpunk looked like this, highlighting how bustling atmosphere and beautiful lighting compared to Cyberpunk's underwhelming graphics are a tad bit earlier. Cherno also touches on how detailed and sharp the game looks. So as the trailer progresses, the Cherno remarks that the environments are incredibly detailed, which is also what stood out most to us yesterday when the trailer released. Before the trailer ends, they conclude by touching on how beautiful everything looks and the amount of detail in every inch of the environment. Overall, it reiterates a lot of what has us excited about the game, but it's nice to get a developer's perspective on how the game looks. Apparently, the Cherno is now working on his own game engine called Hazel, and so I think he has like his own channel, so I'll probably link that down below so you can go check it out. But how cool is that, man? You know, I'm not a developer, I'm just a gamer, and I am thoroughly impressed with what I'm seeing with Ratchet and Clank, but to kind of hear a developer's perspective and kind of hear how they are equally as impressed, that is pretty awesome. I also recall, I believe it was David Jaffe. He's also a developer. I don't think he is making games anymore, but he worked for PlayStation for a long time, and he was kind of, I think this was a while ago, but he was reacting to the first, I think, gameplay demo of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and he was kind of just saying, like, you know, how impressive it was and how Microsoft is probably looking at this thinking, like, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to, compete against this, even a game like Ratchet and Clank? So I don't know, man. I'm really starting to feel the hype as a PlayStation fan, as a PS5 owner. Getting two massive exclusive games back to back that are seemingly both going to be big hits, right? Obviously, we're seeing the surprise with Returnal, but we're seeing a bit of a surprise with Ratchet and Clank as well, because it's being elevated to heights that we just haven't seen previously with with previous entries in the series. So I'm very excited, guys. I can't wait for the state of play. I can't wait to see more of it. If they're doing a state of play this early, right? Like they're doing it pretty much almost a whole month before the game comes out, right? They're probably gonna have a pretty huge marketing campaign leading up to it. So I do wonder what else they're gonna maybe reveal and show off. But yeah, very impressive stuff here. It's a great time to be a PlayStation fan, especially a PS5 owner. I know there are a lot of people who are not feeling too great right now because they want to play these games, but they still can't get a PS5. I'm sure a lot of you have noticed all of the trailers that Sony has put out for the PlayStation 5 like every single day now for the past week or week and a half. My thought process is they plan to have more units available in the coming weeks, and they're probably trying really hard to push out as many units as they can alongside Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, because it looks like this game is going to sell a lot of copies. So that's my thought process. I don't have any source for that other than it's just my speculation. But hopefully that's what happens and everybody who wants a PS5 can get one. But that does it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Leave it a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.